Hi. So this is my second um, vlog for Diary of an Anxious Person. Um, Last time I sort of just did a bit of a brief um, spiel about what it's like having anxiety. Um, this video I thought I would talk a bit more about myself. Um, So my name's Sammy and I'm 25. Um, and basically, um, I live in Auckland. I have done a lot of different things in my 25 years. And so I thought I would just sort of maybe explain a bit more about why I have anxiety and all that kind of thing. So pretty much I've I well, where do I sort of start? Um, I've been through quite a lot of bad experiences um, in life, with relationships, work, um, and I think that has been a major factor in why I now have quite bad anxiety. I've probably had anxiety for maybe 2 years, and um, when I first sort of had it, I was quite anxious. Um, every now and then, certain situations would make it worse, um, but I would never really have a full on panic attack. Um, I went through a very bad relationship, which I managed to get out of, and I thought that I'd sort of held it together quite a lot, but at the start of this year, so January or February, um, I was very sick and I was hospitalised with what they thought was viral meningitis, and it's not as bad as meningitis itself. It's pretty much just a viral bug. So the hospital just did blood tests and sent me home to recover, and I just had to drink plenty of fluids and rest and all that sort of thing. Um, and then I thought that I was getting better from that until I was driving by myself. It was about 5 o'clock in the morning, and I was on the motorway, and I got a little bit um, lightheaded and dizzy, and I felt a bit nauseous. And then I started getting anxious. I actually hadn't really had a very, very, very bad anxiety attack before. So once I started feeling anxious and it was becoming quite intense, I started to freak out. So I thought, I've got to get off the motorway. So I pulled off, and I couldn't control the way I was feeling. I was shaking, sweating, there was a loud buzzing in my ears, and all I could feel was terrified. I felt really nauseous and faint, and I was so scared that I was going to pass out. I called an ambulance, and they told me that they didn't know how long it was going to take to get to me because my condition wasn't life-threatening. I was probably waiting maybe 45 minutes for the ambulance to arrive. In that time, I had called someone else and they had actually turned up, but they had never seen me like that, and they really actually had no idea how to help me. And I didn't really know how to help myself because at that point I never really researched having anxiety a lot. Anyways, I went into hospital and they checked me again, did my blood tests and stuff, and pretty much just told me I'd had a panic attack and that I would be fine. So I went home, that was fine. And from that day, I have now suffered anxiety and panic attacks on a very regular occurrence. At the start, I was anxious probably 22 hours out of 24 a day. I my mum had to take time off work to stay with me, and I know it was really hard on her because, you know, it's bad financial times, so it's not good to ask my mum to stop going to work just to look after me. I felt pretty useless, and that made me worse. It was really hard because the kind of thoughts when you're very anxious and have anxiety attacks are not good. You think, you have like 1,000,001 thoughts going through your head at one time. All sorts of things like, what happens if I can't control this feeling and I'm going to go crazy? What happens if I do something really stupid, like end my life, which I had no desire to do, of course, but the sorts of things, you know, you can't control your feelings and your thoughts. So it's really, really scary, and it makes you a lot worse. I went and saw my doctor and started taking medication, which has helped to a degree, and I've been recommended to see a CBT therapist, which is cognitive behavioural therapy, and pretty much they train you to think outside of those thoughts that run through your head and push those feelings out so that you learn eventually to control your anxiety. So I'm going to look into doing that soon, and I really hope that it does work, because it's, I mean, even though I don't have anxiety attacks as much as I did when they first became really bad, I still have them. I had one today. I was driving, and for no apparent reason I got tingly in my body, buzzing in my ears. I started sweating and shaking and shortness of breath, and because I was driving and I was by myself, I was really worried. Lucky my sister's house wasn't far away from where I was, so I went there and saw her and managed to calm myself down before it turned into a really, really bad attack. So obviously it's a very difficult thing to deal with. A lot of people don't know how to deal with it, but all my friends are so supportive of me and very helpful, and they talk to me and are there for me. The only downfall is that it stops me from doing a lot of things that I want to do. I can't really go out and enjoy a drink with my friends anymore, because when I drink I now get anxious even after a couple. If I start to feel a bit tipsy, then I feel like I'm not in control, and that can set me off straight away. I can't do things like go too far from home, so I'm very big into motorsports, as a lot of my friends know. I missed out on the whole of the drift season this season because I didn't feel comfortable being around a lot of people that I didn't know. After doing a bit of research on the internet, I sort of found that it's called a social phobia, and even though I will leave the house and I have pushed myself to go places, it does make me anxious being around large groups of people that I don't know, and I always have to have an exit, which to me is knowing that I have a car there and someone to drive me if I'm not able to drive, to be able to leave. I'll go somewhere and I'll make sure that I know exactly where the exit is and that I have a clear place to get out. I also have agoraphobia, which is a fear of having an attack, which can bring on an attack, and therefore I think that's a part of the reason why I still have attacks, because I do constantly worry about what I'm doing might bring on an attack. So I'm working on it slowly, and being with my friends is really good, and I try and do things one by one and not push myself, because I don't want to push myself too hard in case I fall back and become worse. Well, I guess that's a bit more about me personally, and I'm still open to questions. If anybody wants to ask me anything, I'll be more than willing to answer it. I just really want to help people, and I really hope I can help people. I want to be a youth counsellor because I've been through a lot of stuff in my life, and I'd really like to help youth with my experiences. So I have to help myself before I can help others. So I'd love to be able to help anyone if they have questions, or if anyone has any advice. I'm more than willing to listen. So until next time, people, I'll see you then.